Welcome back to Haunted by Tapes with the Frog Brothers Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Frog Brothers Podcast. My name is Justin.
You introduced this thing all wrong all the time. Do it again. I'll just edit this. It's Haunted by
The Frog Brothers Podcast presents Haunted by Tapes.
I mean, you have to. Usually, you've just said Haunted by Tapes, and it doesn't really matter because it's already said in the intro a million times anyway. But
okay, welcome to Haunted by Tapes, presented by the Frog Brothers Podcast. I am Justin. That angry man over there with beautiful hair is Alec, and the faceless specter in the ether real void is Nick.
We always share your bed when we have slumber parties.
Jennifer's evil.
I know.
I mean, she's actually evil. Not high school evil.
well, it doesn't count as hands-free if one of them's jerking off because you're talking to us on the phone.
Yeah, here's our
Chip is looking really cute to me lately. How is he tasting these days? You are never a good friend. You could have anybody that you want. Why Chip? You're killing people.
Hey, so
No,
tonight we're talking about
killing
Jennifer.
boys.
Speaking about sick bastards. This movie is pretty entertaining.
Directed by Karen Kusama. I don't know how to
I
pronounce
will
it.
finish you if I have to. Okay.
Written by
You can barely
Diablo
finish
Cody,
gym
who
class.
obviously.
Collaborated there, and they continued their partnership here for this flick.
Think they're in the same cinematic universe?
No.
Not likely.
Megan Fox lost weight and weighed 97 pounds when they shot this so that she would look sickly.
Yeah, she does look pretty sick at some points in time in this.
Oh, she looks sick, all right.
Yeah, she does.
What's
So
the
does
new
Amanda
kid?
Seyfried, though. I mean, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, neither one of them look like they're healthy. So
That's not actually what we're saying. We're saying they're very attractive in this, and you can put dirty makeup on them and stuff, but they still look hot.
Yeah, when kids say sick nowadays, it means good.
And Amanda Seyfried, they're doing that thing where they're like, look, she's not hot because she has glasses and she isn't dressed as slutty as Megan Fox.
Yeah, they did the she's all that to her.
Yeah. But I mean, they were doing it on purpose, I think, in reference to that kind of shit. So,
fair enough.
Johnny Simmons plays Chip, Needy's boyfriend. He was in Scott Pilgrim. He's in the Stanford Prison Experiment. He's in some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Simmons, you have a little role in there. Adam Brody, who's also in both of those are Thank You for Smoking. And
J.K. Simmons has that fake hand in this too, which is very interesting, and his hair is wild as fuck.
he has fake hand and hand.
Fake hair and hand.
Yes.
Maintain low tone.
And Chris Pratt is a douche in this.
Yeah, which we're really starting to figure out, and I mean it's kind of been widely known, but it's just basically who he is.
Diablo Cody said a big influence for this movie was The Lost Boys, and how it's basically trying to recreate that kind of a feeling with girls and stuff.
I don't necessarily get that, but I mean I could.
You don't understand filmmaking influences and how that works without ripping someone off? Like,
That's not what I meant, dick lips. I just meant I don't feel that vibe in this movie at all.
Oh, well, I mean,
It was like an inspiration to make it.
the color palette for sure, the darkness, the modern music choices, the homoeroticism. Yeah, I see it. It's not in your face about it, it's not ripping it off is what I'm saying. It's just like, oh, this is kind of what inspired me a little bit with this story here. And I saw it, but I've always liked this movie since I saw it in theaters when it came out in 2009. I don't remember who I saw it with or anything, but
You saw it with me and Edgar because we also saw a double feature of It Might Get Loud.
yeah, I remember seeing that. I just guess I didn't.
Double feature that night, I remember.
It's pretty interesting. You have the quote, "Hell is a teenage girl" is what they open up with. That's pretty interesting. You see Jennifer in bed, you know, and they're kind of like, look, she's hot. And then you see like Needy creeping in her window before it kind of like flashes back or flashes forward, I guess, to Needy in the mental hospital.
Yeah, there's a pretty big opening sequence there with her just starting to tell her story from the institution.
Yeah, she says like, I have fans, and she says, I'm kind of the shit. And she's
a kicker.
yeah, she's totally gone psycho, and she kicks the shit out of that nurse who's trying to get her to just eat.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, I'm marked as a kicker. And then when she kicks her, like she fucking lays that lady over the table like it looked like a lunch lady getting her ass beat. It's pretty fun.
So it takes place in a town called Devil's Cabin. And it's named after the waterfall where there's this like fucking pit basically.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of show all that. It's pretty interesting. They basically, Jennifer invites her to, wants to go to this band called Low Shoulders Show because she thinks the singer's salty, quote, which doesn't mean that anymore.
No, the salty has shifted.
It's shifted. It used to be a very nerdy phrase, the whole salty thing, saying people are salty when it used to be mainly like video games and card games, losers of that. But now it's thanks to the internet, it's widely used in general as well, that person's fucking sore loser, basically.
Mm-hmm. But this is really the tail end of the MySpace era, so kind of makes sense there because they even make the MySpace reference. So I found this band on MySpace, and yeah, she's all hot and bothered about the singer.
Yeah, we were very much in this sort of scene that they are trying to show a little bit of in this, and it's funny because you know how filmmakers just can't ever get it quite right.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it.
Part of the scene. Like there's examples like SLC Punk. I wasn't in a punk scene in the 80s, but it seems like that's pretty accurate. You know what I mean? But like this is done as someone who's 30 looking in at teenagers current days, which is like looking at John Hughes stuff where you see like Ferris Bueller having these punk band posters and you're like, Ferris Bueller ain't listening to no fucking punk bands. He listens to probably some of this new wave shit on his walls, but come on.
Yeah, and it's the set dressing. They're kind of throwing up what they want on there, so that's interesting too.
So it's that, yeah, definitely that kind of a thing. So she basically describes how Jennifer dictates her outfit to the show. Like she can be cute, but not hot. She can't show cleavage
because it's Jennifer's thing.
Jennifer's trademark is tits or whatever.
Yeah.
She says, Chip, guys like her don't date drummers. And you're like, okay. That's a weird thing to say.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
so they go to the show. Thing. And at one point she comes across Chris Pratt's character, who she has apparently slept with. And also lost her anal cherry too, is what we learned to find.
Yeah, we find that out later that she.
Yeah.
Yep, and he is just in the police academy there, so he's not even a real cop yet. So, but she makes it a big deal because she's got dirt on a real cop or whatever. So, basically implying she can get away with what she wants. So,
yeah. Oh, she says she's gonna go get drinks for her and the guy in the band or whatever after she's trying to flirt with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like Needy's like, how are you gonna get drinks? And she's like, I'm gonna go play Hello Titty with the bartender.
Yeah. Waka waka waka.
Yeah, that shit's funny though.
I know.
Needy hears the band talking about Jennifer being a virgin and stuff and thinks they're just talking about like wanting to fuck virgins.
Yeah, they don't realize there's something more nefarious going on.
Yeah.
She comes out and calls him out on it though, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. And then the band starts playing basically.
Was it the song Through the Trees or whatever?
Yeah, it's that cheesy shit.
Yeah. Very like slow, like emo rock.
I was about to say, yeah, it's more like that style of shit that's borderline hardly art anymore, and it's more pop.
Yes.
Like the stuff that you would actually hear, like, sorry to say it, kids, but Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco.
Yep. Which actually, the funny thing is, so the actor they cast there, they'd originally tried to get Pete Wentz in the role, but I think they had to actually go with a real actor to make this movie work.
Try to get a couple different ones, singers of different bands, and people, which is funny because Pete Wentz isn't even the singer for that band. The guy who, Adam Brody, who plays the singer of the band, he's in Thank You for Smoking as Rob Lowe's assistant. I mean, he does lots of big roles sometimes. I just not in stuff that I regularly watch. But he didn't even do his singing voice. It was one of the other guys that was in the band. So interesting. Let's see. Oh, that's when the fire starts when they're playing and just like fucking spreads throughout.
Mm-hmm.
Really fun.
Yeah, no, it's a fucking cool scene because you're like, oh, look, it's a fire. I wonder if everybody's going to get out. Next thing you know, people being fucking trampled and set on fire. And you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, it felt like a Richard Pryor show.
Oh, it was great. They kind of escape out there, and then he's basically like, no, come into my van. Come into my van. And
Get in the van.
basically.
He like hands her a drink and she takes a sip and he just like lifts the cup up into her mouth to make her drink
Yeah.
more.
Fucking creep.
Creep.
Yeah, that's always a red flag.
And Chip has 4 Year Strong and Motion City soundtrack posters on his wall.
Oh, fancy. Which I didn't catch the albums there were for. Were they just of the band or album releases?
I don't remember the Motion City soundtrack. The 4 Year Strong one was for the first album that they put out. What the big one, the good one. I mean, they released 2 okay albums, but the first one of those 2.
Yeah, the first 2 are good, and then after that, I was like, don't care.
So, oh yeah, I like this. Jennifer calls Chip basically, and that's when you see those posters. Is why I mentioned that. And she hears her doorbell ring while she's on the phone with him, and she gets off the phone with him and is kind of like snooping around her house. Go ahead, snoop around.
Yeah.
They do some of these fake outs, which I really like, where like she opens a door, looks into the basement or whatever, or a closet, whatever it is, and you're kind of like, huh. And you get the vibe of when she closes that door, Jennifer's gonna be standing there. But she closes it and they act and she's not there. I like those kind of like fake outs.
Especially on a jump scare like that, you don't always need those. So those are good when they don't actually deliver because you're like,
Well, it wasn't, like they didn't intensify the music too much to jump it, but I think it's a little more subtle than it could have been, but it was great. I like the way it worked out. But then Jennifer is there, bloody as fuck, doesn't say any much, just stares at her creepily, and then oh yeah, she starts eating shit out of the fucking fridge, like the raw meat in there.
oh yeah, that's so fucking gross.
Puking up the black.
Oh, spews the black stuff. Yeah, the black tar blood. Mm-hmm.
And
Needy's got to fucking clean it all up the next morning.
yeah, it's fucking gnarly. J.K. Simmons looks like Donald Sutherland to me in this.
Yes, he does with that hairstyle. Yeah, he's very much got those vibes.
Like in Buffy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so that's when they kind of introduced Colin, the guy who wears the eyeliner and has the dyed black hair.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm glad you didn't die. I'll see you later. You should fuck me instead of your boyfriend. That's what he's trying to say, basically. And then Jennifer takes out everybody in the school is mourning, and one of the big football players, his best friend died. So like he's out there, crying, and she's like, hey, why don't we go into the woods and fuck, basically.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I mean, I'm pretty sad, but I'm also pretty horny at all times, so sure.
Yeah. So yeah. And then we get that first reveal of her eating him, which is pretty awesome. That fucking monster mouth.
Well, I mean, before that, it's pretty funny. She's like really going for it. She's like showing off her body, and she's like legit, like she's giving him a over the underpants handy before she decides to kill him, which is just funny because she's like, huh. Like it's almost like if she's wondering if she's gonna fuck him or just kill him. Like she doesn't even know. You know what I mean?
She hasn't decided yet at that moment. Yeah.
Which kind of reminds me of Ginger Snaps again. I mean, obviously a lot of this does because for reasons. But the animals surround them too beforehand. That was pretty weird.
Yeah, I thought that was a kind of a cool touch because you don't necessarily see that a lot. So basically implying like the animal instinct that she has at this point or whatever is like drawing their attention.
Yeah.
Sounds like a cute Disney scene.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was basically like a parody of like Bambi or whatever else, like all the animals in the forest.
JK hears this and like thinks it's sort of normal at first, but then he's like, oh, maybe I'll go check it out. And he goes out there and finds the fucking like deer eating the guy.
Yeah.
Like, his blood up, which is fucking awesome. That's just like metal as hell.
Yeah, that's Mr. Wablorsky or Bluesky.
I'm just gonna call him JK. But I get it.
Yeah, but before that, they'd also mentioned like 8 students, parents, and a teacher died in the fire last night. They make a big deal out about, giving you the body count.
Yeah. They do the Jennifer does the slow motion walk. The I'm hot walk is what I called it through the school.
The cliche walk through the school. Like, look at me.
Shows her swimming through that big ass lake naked.
Yeah, she gets out of the water to clean the blood off after the kill, and that's an interesting scene.
Oh, and she calls she says that everybody just has a tragedy boner, which I love. I was like, yeah, that's true. People do get those.
It's a good phrase. All the flip phones in this movie are amazing, right? Because you're like just on the cusp of like the iPhone coming out, and so like seeing all these flip phones and everything's just kind of a good sign of the times.
Yeah. Jennifer looks, I put in quotes, bad when they like try to make her look like she's not wearing makeup and shit like that.
Yeah, and they try to make her look really pale, and they try to like show that she doesn't have like eye makeup on and eyebrow, all that.
Figure out that she's a demon, basically.
Yeah, they're trying to let you know that, that she's getting hungry when she starts, she needs to eat, or she starts looking like shit.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because that's what happens to most creatures that are alive. So,
and then we have one of Nick's favorite interactions from the movie when Jennifer's talking to Colin and he kind of asks her out, and he's like, they're playing Rocky Horror Picture Show down at the whatever theater.
Yeah, because when he asks her out or whatever, yeah, that's a good scene.
He's like, I don't like boxing movies.
And just the look on his face is like he's flabbergasted. He's like, what the hell is this? What? And he's like, I don't really care either. He looks at her and then he doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, he's kind of just like, well,
yeah, see,
I guess I won't date her, I'll fuck her. He decided it that quick.
Yeah. Rationally, you'd be like, okay, this girl isn't for me, but no, she's hot, so I'm gonna.
Well, if she,
clearly
she's just down, so it's not like he's having crazy motives. He's the one who gets murdered here. And I love what Chip says to Needy. Just totally reminds me. I was like 18 when this movie came out, so I was like the same age as these characters, basically. And he's like, I went to Super Target and picked up some more condoms.
Oh, yeah.
That's, an indication of, because he just invited her over that night.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought more condoms. And then he invites her over. And he's like, well, that's not the only reason why. And you're like, yeah, it's the top of your priority list there, pal.
Yep.
You don't hear a lot of references to Super Target.
Yeah, it's funny.
No, not specifically. It's, Target or Target, as everyone tries to be like hip about it. So.
And then he's Colin's going to the place with Jennifer, and he's listening to I Can See Clearly Now, cover by Screeching Weasel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's some interesting soundtrack choices in here. Some of them aren't bad, and some of them are totally shit. But, that's films.
And this is prior to Screeching Weasel being canceled, so.
Screeching Weasel's canceled. I never was a fan, so.
Yeah, that's a whole story for another day. But yeah, they got canceled.
Tell me why they're canceled real quick. Like, make it quick, but.
Their singer basically did some real fucked up stuff and some real controversy around things he said and done. So that's all I kind of remember about it because it's been a while now. But all the rest of the band quit, and then he had other people that came to join the band just because they're looking to be in a band with a name. And not the same.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Yeah, I never really listened to him much, but that song, I was like, it's not that bad, but it doesn't sound great.
Yeah, it's nothing like life shattering or life changing.
It's better than the fucking Fall Out Boy track that's on this movie, which I'm just like, ugh, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Anytime I hear any sort of Fall Out Boy these days, I'm just fucking so annoyed. It's the worst part of Ghostbusters Answer the Call.
Yes, it is. That's an atrocious cover. I'll tell you that.
She says to Colin, "You give me such a wetty."
Oh yeah, that's an interesting term to use, right?
I
It's
think
kind
they
of
were trying to like throw something out there and be like, "This will get into pop culture," and it didn't.
yeah, it was trying to. It's like in Mean Girls are like fetch. Stop trying to make fetch happen. That's what I felt like when she said that. You're just like, nah, that doesn't really work the same way.
And I like it when Chip and Needy are fucking because it keeps cutting back to them fucking during the scene, and it's kind of comedic, but it's supposed to be scary as well. So it's like this weird thing where she's seeing Jennifer in the room watching them fuck, and like,
Yeah, she's like
getting scared.
psychically connected to her, but yeah.
Chip is like, "What is it? Am I too big?"
Oh yeah, that line is fucking laugh out loud hilarious.
It's like, yes, I love that. Lines like that are just fucking solid, man.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was a good line. And the fact that like you just see his feet dangling off the bed and it's like so awkward. And you're like, yep, that's teenage sex.
And let's see. Oh yeah, that's when like Jennifer sneaks into Needy's room and she's sitting there in her panties and she starts seducing her.
Mm-hmm.
My pants get tight, friend.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't watch this with you then.
Well, to be honest, I wasn't wearing pants. But
Oh, you say you knew this scene was coming, so you're ready.
structures arised. Let's say arose. Fucking ass sounds stupid.
In a summer tent pole.
Exactly. There was no tent though, just the pole.
Well, that's disturbing.
I waxed it too. No. Jesus Christ.
Think he waxed his cack and balls?
Who, Jesus?
Yeah.
Probably in his holes in his hands from the crucifixion.
Yeah. Just dump the hot wax in that and then just remove it there. Yeah. That'd be easy.
Yeah, exactly. She tells Needy then after they're done making out and shit and almost doing more, and you're like, oh, I forgot I'm just watching it.
Yeah, because Needy essentially throws her off like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, she tells her she lied about being a virgin to them and like blah 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 blah, and how they what's really funny is when he's what is he singing when he's like about to kill her and they're really asinine about that part worked.
Oh, at the very end when they show you like what actually happened. Yeah,
Well,
they're singing 8675309 is the killer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm like, oh fuck, man. Jenny, I got your number. Because they're killing Jennifer. So I thought that was pretty funny. That was a good little number music cue.
Yeah. And then it shows that she killed another guy that escaped from like a foreign exchange student.
Oh yeah, from the fire. That was her first kill, right? That was a pretty big moment that you kind of realize what's going on.
That's kind of spooky. And then there's a Florence and the Machine song. Kind of a punkier sounding one. And then I like how the description of did you hear what Colin looked like? Somebody said he looked like lasagna with teeth. Because they're at his funeral.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good description there. Get you that goriness. You see the occult's book in the van. You see the they tie her up to start the ritual. That whole piece in that flashback's pretty good.
Yeah.
Satan is their only hope. And I'm like, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Exactly. Oh, I didn't take a bunch of notes on the climax because it's probably my least favorite part of the movie is just the ending part. It's not bad or anything, but it's just kind of one of those ones that's not super great.
Well, this act of the movie, the opening act's great. This middle act is kind of, and then part of the last act are just kind of like subpar. So
I like the first two acts great. Like the second one's great to me too, but the third one is where I'm just a little out. But
yeah, I mean, you see Needy kind of like losing her relationship with Chip. You know, she's working as she researches the succubus and talks to Chip about it, and then
it's fucking prom night or whatever.
Yeah, Chip's mom gives him the pepper spray, which is fucking hilarious. She's like, "There's dangerous women out there," and I'm like, huh. And it's a pink thing. It says like "ladies pepper spray," and she's giving it to her son. So
yeah,
kind of asinine, kind of age there, but still funny, just to give a pepper spray to your kid.
Yeah. And then basically Jennifer almost kills Chip in the pool or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A demon monster, Needy, shows up, kind of fights her off, and then Chip does die. Rip Chip.
Yep. Rip Chip. And let's not forget that Low Shoulder is actually playing the school dance because that was their way to come back and give something back to the community.
Yeah, it's funny. Like they were appearing on the radio show earlier, and they're like, "Yeah, we just really want to do that. We're really going to try to capture that spirit on our new album." That was some funny shit.
Yeah. And then Jennifer bites Needy in that, and then that's a little bit later on, but actually, once they're out of the pool and everything. So
once that happens, once Chip dies,
yeah,
Jennifer runs, and then Needy follows her back to her house and fucking
kills her with the box knife, which is pretty fucking epic.
He's fighting her in there, and this part of the ending is great. It's the part with Chip in the pool where I'm like, this drags on. But this ending here is great because she stabs her, kills her, and then her fucking mom comes in, Jennifer's mom, who has no idea what's going on and is just like, holy fuck.
Yeah, completely lose her shit.
Yeah. Because, that'd be some wild shit to walk into.
And then it's interesting because she gets bitten but doesn't die. She absorbs some of the demon's powers.
Yeah.
From the succubus. So it kind of shows like what she's doing later on because it kind of comes back to her where we see her in the opening where she's institutionalized and she's plotting her revenge at this point.
Yeah. This could be in the same universe as Ghostbusters rather than Juno.
Yeah, for sure. Some of that where she's doing the meditating levitation, which is weird because she's levitating, but she's also doing like the traditional like yoga meditation pose. So you're like, I don't know if you need to do that because you're got a devil or a demon inside of you. I don't know if they go that route, but okay. It works well enough.
Yeah. Well, then she escapes from the facility and is like talking about she's hitchhiking to go find the band or whatever. And it's funny. She has a line where they're like, she's like, oh, I'm going to see this band. And he's like, oh, really? That's special or something. And she's like, yeah, it's their last show.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Oh, the other thing that she does there, she goes and retrieves that knife that they used to sacrifice Jennifer with. She goes and pulls that out of the pond before she hitchhikes. So that's what she grabs before she gets in that car.
Oh, nice. There you go.
And then the ending credits are awesome because, like they don't show her like doing the killing, but they just show like a bunch of still photos and stuff like that of the carnage that takes place at the hotel they're staying at after that night show or whatever, which is pretty wild.
Yeah.
You think they did that for rating or what? Like, why do you think they left out those killings specifically?
I don't know. I think because it was more about Jennifer than Needy.
Okay. Yeah.
Needy is really your kind of framing device for it, but still, I think that would be why.
Yeah, because the ending had very much like
could have just been her hunting down the band if they had ever tried to do that, but they captured that really quick with just some shit.
Yeah, but that the way that ending is set up, it's very much like the Hangover vibes with the lots of still photos, just kind of telling you what happened there and filling in the gap for you. So
yeah, I really enjoy this movie. I hadn't watched it. I watched a couple years ago for the first time since theaters, and then recently I watched it twice for the podcast, like a couple months ago, and then like just now again for notes. And I don't know, I really like it. So interesting and unique movie.
And we covered Ginger Snaps as well, and so there's obviously some similarities into these two stories in the way there's your two female leads that are kind of working together and the tragedy that goes down with it. So it's a good companion film to that, I'd say.
They're both monsters who end up dying in the end of the movie too. So
yep, and they're different, but they're close enough that makes a great double feature.
The tightness of our pants while watching was similar.
Exactly, very similar. Ginger and Jennifer. I would very much like to be the meat in that sandwich, but
Well, if you make that happen, that's your own business.
Not gonna happen. I ain't making it. Are you fucking kidding me?
I don't know. Dream big.
Yeah, I figured this was kind of our high school Halloween week because we did Donnie Darko, Ginger Snaps, Jennifer's Body. They all take place with high school students. So
Yep. Yeah. Good. Good. little sneak there.
clever, huh? Aren't I clever?
I don't know if you're clever, but
And you did
Chucky.
Donnie Darko on the 20th anniversary.
That's correct.
So if you like these movies, check them out. Check out the other content.
Exactly. We've been planning that for I haven't been home in years.
Yeah, I haven't been home in years.
So yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. Check out our other reviews that are up this week. Ginger Snaps. I don't know which one of these is coming out in which order, but if you haven't checked out Ginger Snaps, check it out. If it's not up yet, wait another day or two and it will be, and then listen to it. And also
Ginger
Donnie Darko is
Snaps.
already up, and we talked about
Chucky.
yeah, we talked about Chucky as well. That's going to be up, and so is the P Talk in the Donnie Darko episode. We
Oh yeah.
some Facebook groups where people are very into drinking their pee, injecting their pee into themselves,
You're in trouble for those ones.
eye dropping it.
It cures most diseases.
Yeah, it is a natural vaccine.
Yes.
hmm
Yeah, can't make this up. The pee cults are crazy, and it's not even R. Kelly's pee cult. This is a different pee cult. R. Kelly's is more sexual in nature, and this is more medicinal.
Nick had my exact thought when I shared a little piece of information that somebody posted in there, which was just like, hey, has anybody what happened to that guy who was injecting urine into his stomach?
Oh yeah, that was hilarious.
Anybody heard from him?
Yeah, this guy was injecting his tumor with urine. You're like, I don't think it's going to end well for that guy. He'd probably die of an infection from the fucking dirty needle he's using to suck it up pee and stick in his body.
God only fucking knows.
Well, he died of cancer because he didn't get proper medical treatment.
That too.
Either way, he deserves a Darwin Award for that one.
Either way, check all that content out. And Ghostbusters Afterlight's coming out pretty soon. We're gonna have some coverage of that.
Yeah, and we'll probably do a brief little thing talking about the HasLab Proton Pack. It's going to be announced tomorrow, so we'll probably just do a short little thing, talk about that briefly. So look out for that later this week too.
Yeah, there's gonna be some sort of. We'll talk about this off the air, but there's gonna be some sort of Halloween surprise on Halloween. I don't know what it is, but I'll figure out
Oh.
something to upload.
You might want to subscribe to Alex OnlyFan for that because
No,
he's going to make the shampoo bottle Slimer pop out of his ass.
I'm actually going to just shove an entire pumpkin up my ass.
Oh shit!
And probably die in the process. So
Is the candle going to be lit? Is it going to be carved?
no, it's not going to be carved.
Oh fuck! That's
It would just break going in. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about that.
Edges then and stuff, and after they
Get one of those little gourds,
doing that.
put a string through it, make it a set of Benoit balls. It'd be good.
Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Frog Brothers podcast. We'd greatly appreciate it if you could like and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're listening on the audio feed on Spotify or Apple or Twitter or wherever you listen, tell your friends and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube at youtube.com/thefrogbros. Hit us up on Instagram at Frog Bros Podcast, on Twitter at bros_frog, on TikTok at Frog Bros Podcast, and follow us on Facebook. Join our Facebook group Frog Bros Video by searching just that, Frog Bros Video. Hit request to join and you'll be approved. We have shirts available. The link is in our Instagram bio and below in the description. And you can find stickers on Etsy at Frog Bros, all one word. Additionally, if you'd like to give us a call and leave a voicemail soon, our Patreon will be live and we'll be posting monthly responses and reactions to the voicemails. Dial 816-832-5388.